Go ra do ra, I say. Amamaseta, ashudu, ashute, ashu on vibrations, every bucka. May your mind, buckas, and souls be old. May your omits be sound. May your buckas be leaven off ground. When we keep to the breath, the orth, the mothor, the seon, the soul of Ra guides and keeps you old. Ayanma, I say Ra, L-I-E, say L, say I, Christ, Ori, Chaplain, Tata, Amen Ra, the sound Messiah. I am a truth awareness. True talk can be a part of the greatest transfer of Ma'el, that's intelligence, Amenology to Angodu. This is sound logic. And with all that being offered to you, being a fool is absolutely your choice. To Ray is Ray 1891. That's right. We are on turn 43. This is the Crypto Shit Shower update, where we're going to remind you once again that the blockchain is not a financial umbrella that you can hold and prevent shit from head. All right. Well, we've gotten through the 8-8 Orta L, and we are on the first ray of market open after the 8-8 Orta L that lasted 10 rays. We've seen BTC maintain under 88,000, and we still see it struggling to go above 88,000. That's the lukewarm zone. So when we go to the Kagadora, we're going to recognize that, yes, we are on a new page. We're on turn 43 now. This is 1891. Okay, despite already turning 43, when we reach 1900, then we are entering a new tier. Okay, a new level. Okay, and this is going to cause the level of par to increase. Okay, if Bitcoin had to be in between 91 and 99,000 when we were in the 1800s, when the 1-8 turns to 1-9, that equals 1. Okay, it equals 1. So what happens? Bitcoin has to put these zeros after that 1, and we get 100,000. That's right. Par becomes 100,000. So the pressure for Bitcoin to reach par is going to increase. And so if it didn't want to, or it doesn't serve itself being par with the Ether, then of course it's going to maintain below that. Okay, and so at best, we would hope that the BTC, instead of lagging in the 80s because par was 90s, when we are in the hundreds, Bitcoin hopefully will lag in the high 90s. Okay, and our lukewarm zone will go from 88,000, right, to 98,000, right? It will go between, say, 98,000. I would honestly say 95,000, 96,000 to 99,000. Okay, so that $3,000 window. That's what I would say. Why would I say that? Because after 95,000, Bitcoin gives. Okay, Bitcoin is in a more lucrative zone. We're gonna go to the daily here, so you can get an appreciation for the calculation. All right, and so you can see here's 80,000, here's 94,000. Okay, so according to the Kagadora, support is 91,000. That's the base of of our zone between 91 and 99,000. Okay, resistance would be 99, or the top would be 99. Okay, so that's called the par zone. Okay, and so this zone between 91,000 and 88,000 is a lukewarm zone. That was established by taking the bottom from this wick, 80,000. Okay, going to the established support at 88,000. Knowing that Bitcoin moves in 10% or 10,000, whatever, smaller or greater. That's the intervals of the levels that I have recognized. Okay, so meaning 10% of 8,000 will bring us to 88,000. Okay, 10% of 90,000 will bring us to 99,000. Okay, so that being said, we can use that calculation to determine when Bitcoin is in the 100,000s, when the Ether is in the 100,000 level, where is Bitcoin possibly going to be? We want it to be par, because if it is par with the Ether, then it is a fair exchange for our time and our attention and money. Okay? And so today, Bitcoin has to be reach 91,000 to make par. Okay, and so on a day when it could make par, it looks like it wants to go down to finish that wick, like I showed you, at $80,000. Another thing that we have to note, I don't follow the news whatsoever. Okay, but when I was on my phone this morning, searching for a website that I normally visit every day, some ads came up, or some news reels came up. So as I was scrolling down, I noticed one of the news reels that seems to be quite regular. And I'm telling you, all of these news, it's recycled shit. Okay, it's AI generated recycled stuff. Okay, any business that allows you to use faces, okay, of their most prominent members of our political society, okay, to sell this bullshit. Okay, and there's no recourse. Nobody's saying you got to stop these ads. Nobody's coming out and saying, somebody stole my likeness and made this bogus ad. Okay, and they're selling this scam shit. Okay, so we got to recognize and realize that the news is not something that you need to go by, but what you have to take serious is whenever they tell you a Michael Saylor is going to make a buy, okay, and you think in some crazy world that means that there is money coming into the markets and that's going to increase the price of Bitcoin, you really absolutely need to immediately go to Google or Apple and download this Kagadora app. You need to go to aminra.com and you need to buy the printed version of the Kagadora in the old traditional calendar style, the wall Kagadora. Two versions, an 18 by 24 inch poster, and you have the traditional calendar style with the rings that you can hang up on your wall. You need to go to Jesus.com and sign up for the solarization. Okay, get the Ibaka to Omen Rayer to replace your prayers. Okay, so this can drive out all those mental, spiritual parasites that make you believe that these news and all of these things that are attached to this industry is somehow your friend, something you can depend on. It's not the case. Okay? This is why it is a good reason the market has gone down. Remember, the last time we heard that BlackRock or Grayscale or one of those guys were making a big, huge purchase, and I think it was like $100 and something billion. Okay, and I actually remember looking at the charts, and Bitcoin was over, or the market was over $3 trillion. Okay, and if not that same day, I'm long that same day, it was the new ring. Okay? And it was when I first started coming out with the crypto shit shower updates that remind you that the blockchain is not a financial umbrella that can prevent shithead. Okay? I told you that by 1867, the market would have seen its top and bottomed out. Okay, I told you this. Okay, it went all the way down to 80,000. So what I'm getting at is when BlackRock or Grayscale or any of those companies inject billions and billions of dollars, okay, and within hours or days, the market starts crumbling. Okay, what you are witnessing, and number one, that's money laundering. Number two, that's a buy order. Okay, so they're not buying these cryptocurrencies at the high prices. Okay, they're not doing that. Okay, they're placing an order. So in order for orders to be filled, they need product. In order to get that product, they have to mark down the prices. Okay? And so this order has not been filled. Okay? And so if we go back to the daily, okay, wicks occur when buy and sell signals are happening. Okay? If somebody makes a buy or puts in an order, okay, you're going to see a wick. Okay, the market makers can create scam wicks themselves. They can post a buy or a sell at a high or a low range. Okay, convince you that's where Bitcoin is going or not. And then when Bitcoin gets close to that area, they can pull that buy order. Okay, you got that. But that's how I basically see this wick, that it needs to be filled. So when it needs to be filled, this means you're going to see a strong red line or a strong green bar. Okay, not a thin line. Okay, so if you notice, okay, this has been halfway filled. Okay, they came down to 84,000 just the other ray. Okay, they came right there. Okay, so what is it gonna take for them to go to where they are now and complete that solid? Sit there for a minute or two. Okay, it's not gonna take anything, people. Okay, it's not gonna take anything. If you're playing futures, you should know by now. Okay, your little 2 cents, your little dollar, your little $5, it doesn't matter what you're betting. Okay, this machine is not going to let it go. And it will sit for days below your entry until you get out or until it liquidates you. That's how it works. That's how it has time. This thing is not on a clock. This thing is not on a ticker. This thing exists to extract your attention and your money and your soul. Okay? Because your soul becomes taking care of this machine through your attention, through your money, through all ways that you maintain it. Okay, that's why I'm telling you guys have to come to sound logic and you have to get into stewardship. You need to get into management of sound. Okay, and all things sound. Okay, it doesn't matter of what you want to do. Okay, what you want to do, if it hasn't come from sound, it is replicating sound. Okay, so it's about doing things soundly. And when we relate this to the markets, it's the exact same principle. A matter of fact, this is one of the best areas to display and exercise the principle of sound logic. Okay? You got that. So tomorrow is 1892. Okay? We are on Ma'a. So this is going to be another continuing of the cycle. So we're going up another step. Okay, we've completed 13. By the time you see on, we've had 13 rays. Okay, of consecutive movement upwards. etherically, and it will always be consecutive, and it will always be erect and upward moving because it's consecutive. It just keeps increasing. Okay, and it keeps increasing. All right, so since we're at 1, okay, we have 1 to approximately about 6, okay, where Bitcoin is under less pressure. Okay, so this means it can manipulate the markets up or down without much concern about energies coming from the Seon Raw. Okay, we just had another major solar X flare. I believe it was on the 8th, a couple of days ago. Okay, so we're getting our deliveries within the 7, 8, and 9 consistently. And a lot of times we're getting them throughout the 1s to the 6s as well. Okay, but we know the major load. Okay, like I always say, if you have a sexual organ and you're about to release, okay, so releasing happens on the 9. Okay, on the 1 you're in awe, you're spent, or you're spending that energy. Okay, so this is when we could expect Bitcoin to be taking from us. How it takes from us, it makes us miserable. If this is the market in relation, it's keeping it low, bringing it down. It's doing this to the T. Okay, I said very explicitly. Okay, Bitcoin, because we are in the extended 7, 8, and 9, an extended payload period. Okay, it's going to go sideways. Okay, but it's gonna go up enough to have something to take back when it hits 9s and 1s. And that's exactly what it is doing, people. Okay, it's exactly what it's doing. There's no reason for this. Okay, when everything is pumped, okay, meaning it's artificial currency. Okay, like it always is, but I mean, this is super artificial. So this means like on your keyboard, you can just pump the shit by the keyboard. Okay, and they refuse to. So this is not a charity. There's nobody connected to this that wants you to be wealthy, that wants you to do well. Nobody. Okay? You got that. Everybody's involved in the trap. Everybody's got their own flavor of cheese. Okay, because they know that everybody likes their own little flavors. So you have multiple different coins representing multiple different deities, representing multiple different aspects of your body. Okay, that's what their utilities are supposed to do. How does this interact and function with the soul? Well, my coin does this. Oh, this coin does that. Da, 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 da. You guys got to see it for what it is. All right? You got to see things for what it is. All right, so the expectations today is 91,000. That's what Bitcoin has to do. Okay, it still hasn't completed this wick at 80,000. So whether it does or doesn't, we need to be mindful of this when we are making our choices. So how to save from that is reducing your risk. Like I always say, just half. Just half of what, if you have $10, you invest 5. The other 5 is your insurance. If things go really down, you can scoop some up, okay, and make it back on the way up. If things go up, well, that's great. That very same half your capital that you set aside now can be added to. Okay, you can't lose. All right, and you wait for motion. This is extremely important. Okay, you go by motion. If Bitcoin is going sideways, you can't do anything. Okay, you wait for motion. If Bitcoin is going up, then you're anticipating on selling because you should already have. If Bitcoin is going down, you should be anticipating on buying because you're already in cash. Okay, you got that. I've presented the Luke zone to the cryptocurrency industry. Every level should have a Luke zone. So in that Luke zone is when you can get in and out of your trades. Okay, you don't get in and out when it's already in a zone because you're paying premium. Okay, you got that. You got to have a way. It's like this. You're going through a revolving door. Okay, so you know that gap in between the outside and the building. Okay, that's the width of that revolving door. So like 4, 5, 6, 7 feet sometimes. Okay, so that gap is like in a neutral space. It gives you access to the building, but it's not inside the building. Okay, it's like an alcove. It's like a lobby. Okay, so the Luke zone is like a lobby. You understand? Okay, where you're making your decision. This is where you're going to be deciding whether you're selling or you're buying. You understand that? But when you are in a zone, okay, we're not using this word hold because it's common sense that if you are buying something, you're going to be holding it, possessing it. Okay, and if you're selling something, you have it to sell. All right, you got that. Okay, so this is going to be the crypto shit shower update for today. Hope it's helped you out. Please comment, like, share these posts. Go to aminra.com. Buy something. Go to jesus.com, sign up, get some solarization. Go to Google, go to Apple, download the Kagadora app. All right. So like I said, halfway in, okay, look out for $80,000. They're talking about Michael Saylor buying a big purchase. All of this stuff is opposite. Okay. To me, when I hear that specific types of news, any of these big, huge companies are going to make big, huge purchases. It's going down. It's whatever level you hear that language at, it is going down. Okay? Hands down. Okay? It's much easier for them to bring the shit 10, 20, 30% under par. Okay? And then they can accomplish the exact same thing without giving Bitcoin such a high price. You understand that? Okay, a lot of people got into Bitcoin above 100,000. Okay, certainly a lot of people got into Bitcoin above $80,000. Okay, you understand that? Okay, so Bitcoin, like I said, if they're talking about making a purchase, Bitcoin can go down to the next major number that they like, which is 69, because that represents the coil. Okay, that represents the coiling. Nothing more, nothing less. No yin yang, no nothing. It's the coiling. It's the spiral movement of the ether, of the ore, of sound. You understand that? So they want to be on top of it. Just like they couldn't fuck with 888, they're not going to fuck with 69. Okay, so if it fails 80, I am telling you, it is 69. Okay? But of course, before you go there, you're going to have 70. Maybe 72. Okay? Because that's the Usher number. You understand that? So whatever you do, go by movement, go by sound logic. Okay, if you're listening to the news and the blues, I don't know what to say. There's certain things that they say that are good signals that can give you cues to the overall, but nothing is instant. Okay, you have to incorporate that into your decision making. And unfortunately, a lot of us have cognitive dissonance. We can't come up to this shit on our own. You understand that? This is why you need, especially if you have cognitive dissonance, to listen and take what Christ Oriya Chaplain Tata Amun Ra is giving you. Okay? This is the only thing that could prevent you from shit head. Alright? Christ Oriya Chaplain Tata Amun Ra. The crypto shit shower update, reminding you that the blockchain is not a financial umbrella that can prevent you from shit head. So we don't hold.